Shariah, welcome to the Dubai Works Business Podcast.
Thanks for having me.
We've known each other, we met through triathlon and training, but you've got a great business story. So tell us about your business, your background, and what it is that you do.
We came here from Australia back in 1996.
You and your
Dubai.
family,
Yeah. Me and my family. And we'd been living in Australia for around 17 years, originally Persian, but Australian by nationality. I come from a very entrepreneurial family and background. My father has been building businesses all his life.
So you were working in that business?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was a group marketing director
Okay.
for my father for 17 years.
Okay.
But back in 2001, we kind of saw that back then there wasn't a lot of activity for kids to do. And we saw a lot, not a lot of sport happening and so on here. And because we had also grown up in Australia, we were surrounded by sports like skateboarding and BMX and action sports, so we decided that we would try and go into the skateboarding business. And I was fortunate because I had met, through a friend of mine, the godfather of European skateboarding, Titus Dittmann, a German gentleman that basically brought skateboarding from the US to Europe.
Okay.
We decided that we were going to try this business as kind of a side business because I had a full-time job.
As a business, as in selling skateboards and a brand, retail space.
Exactly. So we found a small shop, 20 square meters, in Beach Centre on Jumeirah Beach Road. And that's one of the old malls before these mega malls were coming up. And it was on the top floor. It used to be like a fashion outlet. We even used the mannequin as our first mannequin. And we brought through Titus American skateboard brands, and we put them on display. And in the first year of business, selling skateboards and caps and footwear and the related apparel, we did like 300,000 dirhams worth of business in the first year. When we started, there was already a handful of skateboarders here, and what we've always done is we don't only market and promote the brands that we sell, but we market and promote the sport and culture that we're promoting.
Build a community around
Exactly. So we did events, we sponsored skaters. We're talking 19 years ago. We're talking 2001 when there was not even a skate park in the country. And slowly but surely we were doing, events on the car park, at Beach Centre, small community stuff, and it just got bigger and bigger and bigger. In 2001, actually, with the government, with the Dubai Shopping Festival, we did a huge event on Al Seef Road in Bar Dubai, where we put together
where the nice new development is
where
now,
the nice new development, where the Miras development is now.
Yeah.
But we put together a huge event that was supposed to be for 3 days, but the government, the Dubai Shopping Festival, liked the concept so much they pushed us to do it for 30 days. We probably could have got a Guinness World Record for that, I'm pretty sure. And the skate park that we built for that event eventually became the skate park that we built and put into Wonderland. Wonderland was an amusement park that was near where the Grand Hyatt is now. That was the first ever really permanent, professionally built skate park in Dubai. We brought Ryan Sheckler, who was a superstar, who's still a superstar.
Amazing. Just fast forward a little bit. Many people will know of your kind of household brand bike shop name, Ride Bike Shop, and you've done a few other things as well. Was that journey step by step? Was it gradual? How did things evolve?
When we did the skateboarding business, which eventually, we had a Rage store in Mall of Emirates, we had a Rage store in Dubai Mall. In the end of 2006, we decided that we would try and put some BMX bikes into Rage. And it was like November, December, okay, it's peak period, but we sold like 100 BMX bikes in 2 months. And that kind of opened my eyes a little bit to the possibilities. If we could have done what we've done with skateboarding, which is quite a niche sport, I mean, it's not an easy sport to get into. Imagine what we can do with cycling. There was the 100 core cyclists that would go on a Friday morning ride, and that was it. So we wanted to put cycling and bikes in the eyes of the consumer. Advertising in magazines, newspapers, on radio, If Lovin Dubai was around then, we'd probably use you guys as well. Really got into marketing and promoting the sport and culture.
Yeah. Have you had any kind of learnings or setbacks or challenges along the way?
Of course. I mean, we've always set out to, as I said, build the community. Not often people give us credit for it. One, it's an expensive thing to do. We probably spent more on marketing than most other organizations. And that eats away at your profits. We were thinking of the future. Build it and they will come.
Yeah.
But again, we opened bike shops in malls that cost a fortune. And then, the other thing I would say is that when you're developing business like this, even if you're flying, you really need to watch your costs a little bit better. Obviously, when the 2009, 2008 crisis came, the global crisis, there was a little bit of a hit. But I think what we saw, especially, if we compare our cycling business to skateboarding, cycling is a healthy sport, is a way of getting fit. And normally what we notice is that, we really started to grow 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014, which were still some tough years, but then we had some peak years as well. But it was like people stopped whining and dining and went to health and well-being. And I think now you even see there's another fitness craze going on because times are tough again since end of 2015 till now, and they've stopped whining and dining, or they've slowed down on whining and dining, and they are really focused on getting healthy and focusing on themselves.
Yeah.
But that's also a sign of a maturing market. We were ranked number 3 in the top 100 companies of Dubai, the Dubai SME 100.
What was your kind of revenue at that time and staff and things like that? It was an SME,
At the peak, we were doing 55 million.
Dirhams a year.
55 million dirhams a year. DDE has brought over 50 brands to the market, global brands. We've been the leader in headwear. We brought brands like New Era to the market, 47 brand, Mitchell & Ness. In cycling, we brought Giant. Giant is the largest bicycle manufacturer in the world. These are all big brands. And we invested 20 million into new retail. Unfortunately, by the time we opened, then the economy changed. 100 people to 160 people. We went from 5 locations to 12 locations, but then we had to consolidate. SME lending, especially in this market, has always been very low. SME lending actually equated for 2% of total lending with the banks. And when things started to go a little south, it was the banks that pulled out of the SME sector, which created a lot of problems. And I think a lot of the challenges are based on that.
Interesting. Why do you think that is? And do you think things are changing, and is there more support? Has the sort of banking industry and business landscape matured as well?
I think what happened is that a lot of banks started over-lending to the wrong type of people, and then when they started to get nervous, they painted everybody with the same brush and cut back on everybody.
So here we are now, looking forward to kind of 2020 and the economy starting to pick up and things like that. Are you making a new bet? Do you still believe in the industry and the brands that you've done? And what does the future look like in the next 5 years?
I personally believe that there is a future here, and the future is bright. Yes, like any other economy, there are some challenges. I think the government is taking the right steps to put in policy and make some changes. Look at the golden visa thing that His Highness Sheikh Mohammed has just announced. This is just going to add confidence for people to invest. That is what's important, confidence to invest here. I think we have a great business in our hand. Whilst we've hit challenging times, if you don't go through those things, how are you going to evolve? It just means that the consumer journey changes a little bit. Okay, there's now e-commerce, which is the hot subject as well. Although the penetration is very low for e-commerce here, but it's a hot topic. There is still a future for retail here. It just means you have to have a different experience at retail. And that's what we're busy doing. We want to evolve Ride Bike Shop and Rage to become interactive. So the new concepts that we're going to be announcing fairly soon for our future will be more interactive.
Amazing. Another buzz topic. We could talk a lot more. It's been like a road trip back to history of Dubai business. It's been fascinating. Thanks, Shariah. Thanks for coming on the podcast, and we'd like to have you back on again.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.